Good afternoon. You are listening to the new WCEG Network. On WCEG Talk Radio, click live stream tab or watch us live on your smart TV, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. WCEG Network. We're the worldwide community empowerment group where we speak life into the community. You may subscribe free to our YouTube channel, WCEG Network. Like, follow, and connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Also, you can join us on our new platforms by downloading our free mobile apps. Apple, iPhones, and iPads, go to Apple Store, search WCEG Talk Radio. Apple TV, search WCEG Network TV. Apple Watch, search WCEG Network. And Android mobile phones, tablets, go to Google Play and search WCEG Talk Radio. I am your host, Dr. Ronald Tolbert, and this is Pulse Sensitive. Last but not least, the topics and opinions are those of the show host and guests, not WCEG Network, and thank you for your continued support. Today, we're going to talk about hurricane recovery. If you joined us at our last show, we talked about being prepared for disasters that come, especially in the wake of the recent hurricanes and during hurricane season. I hope you were listening because we had two big hurricanes come through here that created havoc in our communities, ranging anywhere from the Florida Peninsula all the way to North Carolina. Hurricane Helene set up Milton for the second punch, and I'll tell you, it was something to behold. Based on what we have seen from the widespread damage through Georgia, the Georgia Department of Agriculture, working in conjunction with the University of Georgia College of Agriculture and Environmental Services, estimate early estimates of agriculture sector of damage of $69.6 billion. And that's something to behold. It can be described as biblical and total. We had some pecan growers who have been growing pecan trees for some 50 to 70 years. All of them are laying on the ground and pointed in the same direction. So that just kind of gives you an idea of the extent of the damage that you're seeing. Additionally, going through middle Georgia and eastern Georgia and southern Georgia, you can expect that there's a food shortage. Most of the grocery stores, either they were destroyed or they don't have anything on the shelf. There are no Burger Kings, there are no McDonald's. So you can imagine, the things that they're going through. Helene basically blew down. It was the winds that were the most destructive, ranging again from Florida, from Albany, Valdosta, and all the way into Augusta and North Carolina. So a lot of trees got knocked down, a lot of buildings were destroyed, and again, that really took its toll on our state. I don't know if you have seen this, but they had a news report of a satellite picture at night showing a blackout in the state from Augusta and Albany all the way to Augusta. In the center of the state, no lights. And I don't know if they got them all back yet, but that just gives you an idea of the extent of the damage. Now, one of the things they always talk about is there's the damage and the loss of life to people. And again, that's sad. But you need to remember also that the same thing is happening to the pets that belong to those people and to people who have survived the storm. So we're looking at, dogs and cats, but not only that, livestock. We're talking about the cows, horses, the wildlife, deer, birds. So a lot of these storms affected a lot of things. Then here comes Milton. And Milton's, problem was it dumped a lot of rain everywhere. Down in South Georgia, the Altamaha and Black Shield rivers flooded their banks. Up in North Carolina, there was flooding in areas where there was not supposed to be any flooding. They were well inland. And those floods destroyed and carried homes away. and after the rivers crested over their banks. So let's review, and let me see if I can get this thing to work. We're going to share our screen here and see. Uh, uh, Here we go. Share. Pets and disasters. Again, you want to make sure that you have made a plan in advance of these hurricanes and these disasters to make sure that you are covered for all things. For instance, preparing everything you need to execute that plan. So considerations when making your disaster plans are listed here. This information can be found on the American Veterinary Medical Association website. And you can go ahead and search for disaster preparedness, and that includes locating prearranged evacuation site that will be outside the impacted area. Know how you plan to transport your pets, send them evacuation kits, collect records to help you keep your pets during the disaster, including your medical records, any prescription medication that you might need, uh, veterinary treatments that your pets have received. Provide your friend or neighbor a letter signed by you that will release them from responsibility for pets injured during the evacuation, and be ready to reunite afterwards. And that's going to be the tough part because roads are out and things like that. So you have to remember that that's something that you're going to have to deal with. North Carolina and in the Northeast, I'm sorry, in the Southeast was the worst hit. And if you want to help with that, there are some things that you can do to help with that. And there are, again, on the AVMA website, you can look up disaster relief in North Carolina, and they have a website that you can go to provide whatever you need for disaster relief. And they need quite a bit of things for that. They need, of course, food, water, shelter for the many people that have problems. Again, if you look up disaster relief, and again, this is off the AVMA website, and it will give you information on how to help veterinary community recover, because you have to realize that veterinarians in North Carolina also need help. Some of these veterinarians are operating out of their parking lots trying to treat their pets. Many pets are missing. Those are found. And again, if you go back to disaster preparedness, hopefully you have microchipped your pet so that, if they're found and they can't find the owner, you can take them to any veterinary shelter or veterinary clinic, and they can scan that pet and find out who that pet belongs to, and therefore get a telephone number in which to contact you and let you know where your pet is. Same thing for large animal. Quite a few of them are identified the same way. So again, if you go to this website right here, disaster relief information. Again, this one right here is this North Carolina Veterinary Medical Association website. So you can find out what's going on in North Carolina, and you can donate or help them recover with their efforts by going on this site. And you can donate monies, but again, be careful who you donate. The websites for these for AVMA, Georgia Medical Association, North Carolina Veterinary Medical Association are usually the safest ones that you can use in terms of donating your money. So don't go to strange websites. You want to go to the ones that show these organizations to be sure that your funds and your support go to the right place. So again, this is the reason why we do disaster preparedness. And we hope that you were prepared when these storms came through, because again, they created a lot of damage and a lot of loss of life. So what can we do to help hurricane victims? Well, here are the do's and don'ts. And again, this is on the American Veterinary Medical website. The East Coast was, again, the most severely affected. So again, if you want to help the community, you go to avmf.org and you can get disaster reimbursement grants. disaster relief grants, and this is for veterinarians, by the way. You can request for on-the-ground veterinary help, and see that see if you can get assistance that way. So again, these storms were very deadly and very costly in terms of the loss of life. They probably scattered many pets and resources uh, uh, to across the state. And you must remember again that anytime this happens, you must be prepared. I cannot give you an exact figure as to what happened with all the pets that were caught in this storm. Many of them ended up in shelters uh, that were set up prior to the storm. For instance, Agorama in Perry, Georgia, is one place where they always set up as a area um, for pets to come to in case of storm emergencies. And again, that part of it is ongoing, I guess, for years. This year, they happen to have a fair going on at the same time. There was a lot of damage to that fair as well, but they seem to come out of okay. Um, they did have lights for the most part. And anytime a disaster like this occurs, people fleeing the hurricane zone in Florida usually will come to the Agorama Center in Perry, Georgia. Beyond that, there is a list of veterinarians who have volunteered to board pets without charge, or well, I'm sorry, with charge, but at least they'll let them know what the capacity of the facility is for boarding pets, and they'll have available the prices on that website. So if you're still having problems, you can go to the Georgia Veterinary Medical Association and do a search for veterinarians that have boarding facilities near where you want to go. We also have, in effect, FEMA. Again, FEMA is more on the human side, but it also deal with rescuing pets as well. So when uh, the second hurricane came through, that's when it really became a problem, and that's because of the flooding. The flooding really created havoc across the states, Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, and North Carolina. So that was something that both FEMA and Georgia Veterinary Medical Association and North Carolina Veterinary Medical Association had to deal with. And that's something that you should be able to appreciate, because again, that is what they do, and what they prepare for and what they train for. Disaster relief and disaster preparedness are subjects and courses and training that are offered to veterinarians quite often to help cover these kind of things in real time. And things are set up in stages, just like you find that you're going to find that Georgia Power is set up such that they will stage their trucks in certain areas to be prepared after the hurricanes come through to start restoring power to areas. Well, they do the same thing in terms of trying to track and place assets to cover those who are fleeing the hurricanes. For instance, those people who are bringing horses with them. Again, they can go to Perry, Georgia, to the Agorama, and that's where they will house horses or many of the livestock that are carried by trailer into the area. And again, these things require a lot of teamwork and a lot of planning to make this go without a hitch. Again, on top of that, we have to be concerned about the spread of disease. Because of the flooding, it's going to overflow rivers. So it's going to take not only sewage with it into those waters, it's also going to take gasoline, fuel, and those kinds of things will also be in the water. So the water is contaminated. You're going to have animals that have drowned and have perished, and those bodies will have bacteria that they release into the water. So now we're looking at the spread of disease not only to animals but to people. So we have to be prepared to treat those with infections deriving from the flooding. Also, the injuries that they sustained due to those storms. So again, emergency hospitals are key to helping support those in need of emergency care, both in the animal hospital industry, but also in human medicine. Many veterinary hospitals, as I told you before, were damaged and they are in need of assistance themselves. So these are the kind of things that we have to think about when these storms come through. Hopefully, we won't have any more this year, but the ones that did come through did a lot of damage and it strained our resources to the limit. President Biden has already ordered state of emergencies for all these areas, but again, it's draining those kind of resources. The other thing that is draining is those who need blood. So there were a few centers that were blood donation centers that were destroyed. So we're running low on blood there. So if you're if you are able to donate blood at any of the surrounding hospitals, please do so. If you are able to bring food or feed to animal hospitals or to the agronomical centers to help feed these pets, we appreciate it because most people do not run from hurricane bringing a whole lot of pet food with them, and it's going to run out sooner or later. Also, you want to be able to support the veterinary community by making sure that they have supplies that are necessary to help board these pets and feed them and water them, have everything that they need. Again, if you have questions about that, you can go on GEMA, which is the Georgia Emergency Medical Association, and they will have lots of information that you can use in this recovery. Now, the first part was that, and you know, I was coming from Florida after the hurricanes came through, and I normally gas up in Valdosta, Georgia. Unfortunately, there was no power there. So you couldn't get gas, you couldn't get anything to eat. So I had to keep going. So, you know, it wasn't until I reached Macon that everything started to look a little better. So that just gives you an idea of how bad this was. People streaming out of the west coast of Florida. They flooded the highways. They ran out of gas and it was just a mess. Now, returning is another thing. Most of those same people who left Florida or left the hurricane areas are trying to return there even as we speak. Once again, gas is at a premium and they may not have anything to go back to because two hurricanes came through there. And the first one with the winds destroyed a lot and could create a lot of damage. The second one came in with a whole lot of rain, a whole lot of flooding, and whatever was left got washed away. So we hope that, you know, all the victims of this hurricane have made some plans, just like we talked about in our last session with Dr. Charles Robinson, and we wish that everyone had, you know, done enough planning that they were able to evacuate safely and have their pets evacuate with them. Keeping in mind now that in Georgia, particularly, we are agricultural state, so that a lot of things that we grow and distribute in this state also got destroyed. We're looking at cucumbers, we're looking at strawberries, we're looking at corn, you name it, it got hit really, really bad. So don't, and of course, agriculture includes animals that we grow for consumption. That is going to include chickens. And the state of Georgia is probably #1 in production of chickens. So don't be surprised if your chicken wings get a little higher when you go to buy them next time. Not that they're not already high. We'll also be having problems with pork because we have a lot of pigs in this state. A lot of those facilities were destroyed. So you're going to have to start looking at price increases in the stores as well. I hope this information is going to be helpful to you. In case this ever happens again, please remember those websites that I mentioned. All of them can be found again on the avma.org website. You can also go to gvma.org or FEMA and find this information as well. I keep some information handy, and we do board dogs during disaster relief. So you can also contact Red Oak Animal Hospital at 404-767-8513. In addition, we are on our website is www.redoakah.com. We can also find us on Facebook and uh, find us that way. Again, Red Oak Animal Hospital at 4895 Ben Hill Road in South Fulton, Georgia, 30349. And again, the phone number is 404-767-8513. I think that's going to do it for us today. And again, if you have any questions, again, go ahead and uh, research the websites that we told you about, or go back to YouTube and see this program. You should be able to find the information that you need to help yourself through this emergency and this disaster. We thank you for